This is a copy of the resolution where Metro Council members list the reasons they want Chief Conrad off the job. Soup cans all over the ground. We are right off of Highway 146, hundreds of cans, and this right here is the actual crossing arm that the semi knocked off. I do know police found a man shot to death in the parking lot of this Thornton's here. At last check, the 6th Division officer who was shot is recovering here at University Hospital. LMPD Chief Steve Conrad says he is expected to be okay. We're hearing people telling stories about times they've seen Muhammad Ali here in Louisville, times that they've visited the Muhammad Ali Center. It's really incredible to watch. The smoke has cleared, but you can still smell it in the air here outside the building. And take a look at this huge pile of debris. It is a very tense scene here at University Hospital. Police cars are lined up down the block. We met people from as far as California who were camped out here this morning to try and get tickets to Ali's funeral. How lucky am I that I get to wake up to this beautiful sound of the Louisville Youth Choir. They're here bright and early with us. The Marsh family has already more than doubled their goal on the GoFundMe account thanks to the community's help. We do have a major road closure to tell you about. It takes effect at 6 o'clock, so about 30 minutes from now. 3rd Street between Jefferson and Market will be shut down. The sentencing phase for the man who killed a Southern Indiana couple starts today. Kevin Schuler is one of 2 men convicted in the robbery and killings of Gary Henderson and Aseneth Arnold in 2013. Well, still an active search here for that person involved in the shooting. You can see police still on scene nearly 8 hours later. This all started last night here in the 3200 block of Kemmons Drive. LMPD Chief Steve Conrad tells us 6 division officers were called here after reports of a man trying to get into a number of doors and homes in the area. The officer involved in the shooting saw a man who fit the description from the calls. Conrad says he shined his light and asked the man to stop, but he refused and took off running. The officer chased the man around a corner, and Conrad says that's when shots were fired, a bullet hitting the officer in the foot. The chief says the outcome could have been a lot worse.
Officers face dangers on a daily and nightly basis, and we're blessed to live in a community where we have so many men and women that are willing to face those kind of dangers to do their best to try to keep our community safe.
It's not clear at this point whether the man shot the officer or if the officer accidentally shot himself, but Conrad says the officer fell to the ground and the man continued running. And the chief tells us officers here do believe they know who they're looking for, but at this point they still have not found him. As for the officer who was shot in the foot, we're told he's recovering at University Hospital and is expected to be okay. LMPD just now tweeting out, please keep our officer and his family in your prayers. We will update as more information becomes available. Julia Rose, WHAS 11 News.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Comparing Derby season to the holiday season in Kentucky isn't a far stretch. Just swap mint juleps for the eggnog, horses for the reindeer, and hat shopping for toy shopping.
It's a real exciting time.
And you can call Dee's Crafts in St. Matthews the North Pole for hats.
A lot of flowers. We've done a lot of full flower kind of garden-y looks this year. Always feathers, netting.
Meet Anna Hickman, one of Santa's little helpers. She's been making custom derby hats for 7 years.
There's definitely strategies. There's things that are, classic that everyone likes. A bow, a few feathers. Feathers are always good.
Dee's has been making hats and fascinators for 3 decades.
It's fun to go from the very beginning when they bring the dress in to the end when they pick it up and they go, oh, wow, I love it.
Helping women with their most important derby accessory.
It's great energy. Gals are very serious about their hats.
And Jane Rose Zupetz is serious about her hat making.
That's a really nice color with that.
So serious, she takes a break from selling houses for 1 month out of the year to work at Dee's.
I love to make hats. I love color. I love feathers and just all the excitement.
Whether it's creating a hat from scratch or reworking an old one to match a new dress.
Okay, let's put it on the back.
Jane, Anna, Kathy, and the rest of the Dee's team help craft hundreds of hats each derby season. Their work scattered throughout the colorful Churchill crowd.
Every year we find new sources for feathers, colors for hat bases, for new ribbons, new embellishments.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
New looks for the same unofficial holiday that lights up the track and the city every first weekend in May.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
And Dee's is still accepting orders. In fact, they tell me they'll be making hats and fascinators all the way up until Derby morning. Live on Millionaires Row, Julia Rose, WHAS 11 News. Music has been a hobby for Elizabethtown native Tyler Davis since he was a teenager. But his true passion for singing and songwriting came to life after the death of a close friend.
I started thinking of everything, our whole relationship, me and Brianna's, and what an amazing young woman she was. And the first thing that popped in my head was song.
And that's just what he did. Wrote a song for 17-year-old Brianna Taylor, who was killed by a drunk driver last year.
Spirit of number 5 will live on.
The song is called The Spirit of Number 5 because that was Brianna's softball number.
You came to me for comfort and I made sure that I was always there.
The Taylor family heard the song and asked Tyler to play it at her funeral. An unlikely and tough first gig.
I didn't plan for the quote-unquote publicity or anything because it started out just for me.
We learned so much from you and now that you're gone.
Tyler quickly realized the song wasn't just for him. It was for Brianna's family and friends, a small but key part in their journey to heal.
It was God using me. I was simply a tool, and I was extremely humbled at that moment when I came across that realization.
Another tragedy struck the Taylor family 1 week later. Brianna's brother Bryce was killed in an ATV accident.
If anybody wants to say anything about Bryce or...
As family and friends and an entire community desperately tried to wrap their heads around the second accident,
A best friend, a big brother.
Tyler once again turned to music. He wrote another song, Together Again, for Bryce. Tyler, once a football star, is now an aspiring singer and songwriter. He hates that his music career started from Brianna's death, but says her father, David Taylor, didn't give him much of a choice.
After Brianna's funeral, David looked at me and said, you know, you could be the next Jerry Rice, but you're made to do music.